Welcome to DIY IT again for small businesses. This is episode 4. So we've changed topics this time. We're moving into IT talent. That's we brought Austin in for that. He is our talent now. But we wanted a perspective from what it's like as a tech in the community. And then I'd like to talk with you two about hiring, what's going on in the space. What do we look for? How do we, leverage these guys? What do we do to retain and attract talent?
Yep.
And, Austin, from your standpoint, what do you look for in a company to work for? What types of things you're looking at. So let's kind of open it up like that, and we'll kind of start with hiring, what we're looking for. And you've been in the space for hiring, so you've sat on a lot of our interviews as we bring techs in. So, not only as a tech, working in the industry, but what you're doing as you're doing interviews.
Yep. Yeah, I'd say right off the bat, obviously, before anyone even comes in for any kind of interview, whether it's a phone interview, Teams interview, in-person interview, the resume has to look somewhat good. They have to be comparable, and have done some history. Depending upon, you might be in a spot where you're looking to hire someone with a little less experience and you can kind of help them grow through the organization, or you might be in a position where you're like, I need Superman to come in and be able to hit the ground running. So obviously checking over the resume, then I always like to do the initial phone call, touch them that way. Kind of go over who we are. And at that point, it's weird. It's become more of a sell. And, and I'm kind of selling ourselves to them versus them being like, please hire me, please hire me, please hire me. You do have to sell.
Do you think that's the market today?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
it wasn't. I would say I've been in this position for 3.5 years. When was my first go around to hiring folks, it was not a sell. It was more like, can we please work for you?
Right. Yeah, I think that's definitely changed in the space today.
Yeah, so you really just feel them out and then sell yourselves. But one of the bigger things that I like to do on those initial contacts is, are they going to fit our family?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because if they're not, I don't care how smart you are, you get one bad egg in a 20-man, small MSP or small business, it can cause havoc.
You can really feel when somebody comes in and
100%.
the mood is set in the office, even though, you feel like we're big because, there are 20 people coming in and out of here, right? But somebody comes in and you can feel that.
Immediately.
So, yeah.
And we're interviewing them and we're seeking their talent to see if they match us.
Yep.
We don't want a body. We want somebody that's going to match the family, that's going to blend in the family.
Correct.
Because we spend more time here than we do with our families together.
Yep.
And that's a big piece. And another thing that we do, that Adam does, is talks about all the things that we do culturally and all the things that are attractive as an employee, or to an employee from an employer standpoint. And we do a lot of stuff. And I'll let you elaborate on that.
Correct. And what's funny about that is, again, going back to the point of us having to sell ourselves more, like I even had to go back on, on the platforms we're using, ZipRecruiter, Indeed, and jazz up our job posting more to try to really make us stand out. Like, hey, because now everyone's just picky and choosy,
Right.
So you literally have to line item the things out that separate you from that standpoint.
I've always said it, and I know you guys have heard it before in the past, I always interview people and take the approach that, would I ride in a car for 4 hours with this person? Because that's like you said, we spend more time here interacting with each other than we do with our own families at times.
Yeah, on a daily basis, absolutely.
Yeah, and one of the hard things about hiring people, I've always found, is you might spend 45 minutes, an hour, maybe 2 hours max in an interview, hoping that's the right person.
Fingers crossed.
Right, and then they come in here. That's a lot of trust. It's hard to do.
It's a small window of time to make that
huge
decision. And that decision goes a long way. At the end of the day, we've got a very small window to figure out, do they fit our team?
Yeah. Right.
It's not just about a body, because our team will go without a person to find the right fit.
That's very true.
And to that point, and Austin, he's sat in multiple interviews, and we come out, afterwards with the in-person interview, we all huddle up, and it's like, okay, we got 4 people that we've interviewed in the past couple weeks. Let's make our choice. And I can tell you that every single time, personality and cultural fit is honestly one of our biggest things.
Because you can't teach that.
Right. You can teach tech. So if I have someone whose technical knowledge is up here, but their culture fit and customer service is going to be down here, nah.
If they've got the interpersonal skills of a goat, it doesn't matter.
Correct. 100%. So it is that balance where, depending upon the hiring schedule and where we're in. And I'm these guys' boss they sit in, but I value their opinion because they know the culture we've built.
Well, not only is it the personality going to match internally, but it's also externally to all our partners. Like, because we know all our partners very well. We've all been here for an extended amount of time. So it's just important to know, like, can this person go to this partner and fit in with their culture as well as ours?
Correct.
So that's something I always bring up, like, in the interview is, one of the first things I always say is, hey, like, customer experience is going to be your best friend when you first start here, because we're not an ISP. We're not going to show up somewhere and then never see that person again.
Right.
You want to show up, have great customer service, because you're going to be with them for a long time.
Build that relationship.
Your first impression is going to be extremely important.
Right.
Yeah, it's one thing to hire a tech because he can fix every problem, but when you have to send him on site or he has to talk to a customer and he can't, that's a problem. So that's a hard balance for us. We're finding talent that technically can be talented, but at the same time, we have to find the right personalities.
Correct. And if you could have the smartest person in the world, but if their customer service is meh, the end user is going to be like, that guy's not a very good technician. Because it's up to them, it's one big thing.
To the end user, when the end user calls in, they want the experience to be pleasant from beginning to end.
Correct.
From, here's my problem, be empathetic about it, listen to me, and then fix it. Right?
Yep.
So we're pretty picky.
Yeah.
And we should be.
And I think that, like most SMBs today, I think any company today, actually, I have a lot of friends that run a lot of different organizations, and the struggles that we are having to find talent today, they are too.
100%.
I think that the industry, a lot of this, I don't know if it's COVID, if it's just the generation, but we find we're probably employing older people now than we were in the past, hiring young guys, because how many times have you scheduled an interview?
Nobody shows. They don't call. They don't follow up. There's nothing, and we waste a lot of time and lose a lot of time just it's the worst.
Just trying to get somebody in the door.
Yeah, it's demoralizing.
Yeah.
When those scenarios where you've spent already an hour and a half to get them to this point, they don't show up, they don't call, or they show up, they accept the job, and don't show up on their first day of work. That's happened twice.
And that's everybody's experience.
Everybody's
experience.
It's not just our challenge.
Hey, I'll take the job, and then they don't show.
Yep.
And it's not just us; it's everybody.
Right. It is a crapshoot, though. I mean,
and it's more than pay as well. I mean, it's not always about the pay. It's about the culture and the things that we do as a family.
I think we spent a lot of time finding what our culture was. And Adam, I know you drove a lot of that. You have obviously the biggest team here.
Right.
Other departments have 1 or 2 people in a department. You just happen to have a ton of guys.
Sure.
And I think that you set a great culture with your team, and that culture has kind of bled into everywhere, which I think makes working here fun, right?
Oh, for sure.
I mean, you think about the things that we do. I don't know if everybody does this, but I feel like that's what separates us. We have awesome picnics. We have fun outside. I mean, like this past year with the football.
Yeah, you got your operations manager running around concrete, trying not to break his ankle,
catching
catching bouncing
really
footballs.
Yeah, see something really funny. Watch a bunch of IT guys throw a football and catch it, right?
It was quite comical.
But it was. I mean, but we gave out some cool gift cards.
Yep.
People are winning $100 for this and that, and we have, the NCAA here. We had a great little cookout with that.
Sure.
We've done the Top Golf stuff. We've done Fulling.
We do an event a month at least.
Yes, whether it's I would say whether it's inside the office or outside the office, we're doing at least one thing a month. And that could be, we bring in lunch, or we're cooking out lunch, or we go to a happy hour, or like you said, we go to Top Golf, or, any
Fulling,
number of things.
Different stuff like that. It's always something different.
In my opinion, like the events are like few and far between. They're always a really good time, but it's just the everyday vibe of the office. That's like the main thing for me. Like, and it's a hard thing to like explain to somebody to sell that, but like every day when I walk in, like I just know it's a relaxed vibe. Everyone's having a good time talking. It's not super high pressure where someone's over your shoulder all the time.
Right.
It's just like it's literally like a family. Like it's just like you're hanging out with your buddies and you're working.
You could be sitting at your desk working and turn around and see someone sitting in front of the large TV playing Xbox in the middle of the work.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't become. It's not a job at that point in time. In theory.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
And
It's like I
people,
want to go to work, but not because I have to.
Right. And I tell prospective new hires, like, yes, you will not be shocked if you walked in our office and saw someone playing a video game in the middle of the day. I said, it's because I don't micromanage. I trust things get done. If they're not getting done, then we got a bigger problem. But if someone needs 30 minutes to decompress after staring at an awful issue for 2 hours,
Yeah.
by all means, if that's what it takes,
Right.
go for it.
Because they're not working, they're not taking lunch at noon.
Right.
These guys, the phones ring constantly. I know you even rotate your staff so that they have that, but I've watched someone like Austin here working through lunch up until a couple hours later, and if he wants to sit down and play Xbox or go goof off and do this that's his lunch break, and that's fine. And he's happy.
Yep.
And it took us a while to get there. It didn't happen overnight. It was
Sure.
like, why is this guy playing video games?
Right.
It's like, there's 200 tickets. Well, he's got his job done. He's doing well. And so it's good to see the culture changes, and it's good to see that it's continuing to grow, and it just adds more value to being an employee.
And that's the biggest thing, is because, like you said, Austin, it is hard to explain that to a potential new hire. But I feel like once we get them in the door, they see it, and it's like, oh man, this place is awesome.
Yeah, keeping our talent here is such a savings for us.
Oh, time and money.
Correct. Because losing talent, or even trying to replace it, like we've talked about in the interviewing process, trying to get people in the door is, the last position we hired for, I felt like we spent 6 months trying to find 2 people.
I would agree.
2 people. And we had 2 people, and then we had 2 more, and it just felt like this revolving door until we finally found a couple of very talented guys who fit into the culture really well and have stayed here so far. And I like that. And the team is very lively out there. I love that.
And the little things that we do as a company for everyone helps retain those employees as well, because you lose 1.5 of a salary in theory just by losing someone. You got to retrain. You got to. We don't have a lot of turnover either.
Well, and training, we're talking about costs. Training somebody has to pull somebody else off of doing their
now
job.
Now you're 2 people.
Yeah.
You're already a person short.
Correct.
Now you're 2 people short for 2 weeks, maybe 3.
And when you talk about the turnover, there is literally no voluntary turnover where they're like, I don't like it here, I'm leaving.
Right.
It's
just like our partners don't leave.
Correct. It's unfortunately, times where it might not work out on their end and we have to let them go, but yeah, it's never like, I just don't like it here. It's not a good fit, and blah, blah, blah. It's a good spot.
What kind of opportunities do your teams, and I talk to you more because obviously, again, you have the biggest team. What kind of opportunities do you present to them to develop them, to grow them? Or what are you encouraging these guys to do? And even from the vCIO office, I'd love to hear that answer too.
I would say from my perspective is obviously the stack we use, whether it's hardware, software, trying to get as many people to buy in to that as possible. And hey, the one way you're going to grow here is to learn more. If you want to stay in your silo and that's where you want to live, the world needs worker bees. Yeah. And that's, you're never going to have an entire company full of the ultimate go-getters that go above and beyond.
Not everybody
all the time.
can be a doctor.
Correct. Right. There are worker bees, and as long as they're good at their job and they're good worker bees, then I'm fine with that. But it's finding, the few that want to continue to grow and expand their knowledge. That's huge, and that also leads to another retention level, is because they see how much we hire from within.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
Our entire staff is basically, if you're not tier 1, you've been hired from within or promoted from within.
Right. Yeah, I think that every role on the server guys, you guys are all promoted from within. Yeah.
Duane.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. That's a good point. We do retain within and promote up the line.
100%.
And the lunch and learns help everybody, try to expand our horizons internally. We just had a position open on tier 2 spot, and a couple more than 2 applied. Yep. And you go back and say, well, what did you do to enhance your career over the last year? What have you learned of our stack? And that's huge towards making that decision on, I love all 3 of these people to death. We're all family, but this guy,
it's gone above and beyond.
It's gone above and beyond, and then that's how they grow. The lunch and learns, the Meraki's, the Mosels, and all those things broaden the horizons of everybody.
Sure.
Well, and it's just super important, like the retaining piece also, just because it is like super scary, honestly, to go out and find someone that's kind of an unknown, especially in a sysadmin position. Like when we hire from within, like we're knowing kind of what we're going to get instead of going outside and like flipping a coin of like, well, hope this
They're
guy
not
turns out.
Yeah, they're not going to like the way we do things.
Maybe
They're
this
gonna
was
have
just
their
a
own-
really good 2 hours of their life, and I just got con.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and I love it. And I love that we also reward for that, right?
100%.
Not only are we promoting within, right, to different spots, we're also giving these guys opportunities to, this is our product line, go get certifications for these product lines, learn it so that you can step up and start doing more service tickets, providing that better customer service. And if you get these achievements, here's a bonus.
Correct.
Here's a bonus.
And that leads into the pet teams and the collaboration. All of those things come together. I mean, if you've got a person over here that's learning the 3CX system, that opens up that communication to maybe Austin on, hey, show me how to do this, or and maybe he hadn't interacted with this person because they're on a different team.
100%.
It just opens it all up. We have pet teams, but there's really no dividers.
Correct. Well, and our pet teams truly are down at the front lines too.
Correct.
So once you leave our pet teams, you get into your team, and you guys service all of the pet teams, which is really cool. You guys are able to develop the guys below you big time, and because you can see the talent across the different teams, and then you're like, hey, you know what, Scott, you're doing really well. You should maybe look at getting this first level certification in 3CX, right? And then you can start provisioning phones for us, and you can take it. You get to do a little bit more, and I think the guys love that too because they feel like rewarded.
They're not siloed.
Yeah, yeah.
And the beauty of it is, yes. So we have currently we have 3 pet teams as it plays out, and then. But the beauty of it is, the partner, that's their team, that's their guys. They might have 4 frontline and 3 in the back that all work in collaboration. But ultimately, they have a knowledge base of 25 people. So you
can't replace that with one person. You can't
two,
replace it with
2 people. Right, exactly, 2 or 3. So yeah, if you're a small business and you hire internal IT and you've got one person, well, you're definitely not getting it. And then that one person goes on vacation or gets sick or
doesn't stay up with the latest and greatest.
Yeah, you're toast.
Yeah.
And yeah, even with 3, we're offering, 25 knowledge heads. They're all collaborating on a daily basis in Teams channels. So.
And for any late joiners to the podcast, our PET team stands for Partner Experience Teams.
Yeah.
We don't want clients, we want partners.
Yep.
Right. We want pets.
We need the Jane's Addiction song.
I know. Cue Perry Farrell now.
Yep.
And we'll make great pets. So, but I mean that also goes to, we're also rewarding these guys with Employee of the Month. We have other strategy bonuses. I know that the marketing team is doing some really cool stuff down the road with these guys. Like whoever gets the most 5-star ratings today, and they're handing out a gift card for that.
Sure.
And and we didn't come up with that. We were at an enterprise, right? Checking out.
Yep.
The girl's like, hey, give me a 5-star review, and I could win this gift card. And we're like, we should take that home.
Correct.
When we talked to the marketing guys, and they were like, "That's a great idea." So how do we encourage these guys to start?
It just keeps the day to day not so monotonous.
Right.
Sure.
It helps with burnout.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was one day last week I walk out with my movie
yeah.
trivia card, and I'm like, all right, we're going to do 5 rounds. Whoever has the most points gets to leave 2 hours early.
Yeah.
Just out of the blue, and it's just trying to do fun things, keep people engaged, so they're not. I'm doing the same thing every day. I in my floppy disk.
That was fun. I love when you come out and you do the movie trivia. I participate even though I don't get to leave early. But
you leave early every day.
I leave early every day, yeah. But it's I come in late and leave early. I'm a banker.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that just keeping those guys fresh because they don't know when you're going to do that. And all of a sudden, and it was funny is the guys that never experienced it, the newer guys,
they're like, what?
They're like, really? I get to go
I can
home.
log on the phone queue.
Right,
for
I
a
get to go.
second?
Yep.
It's 2 hours before we close. Are you sure? Like,
Right.
yeah, dude, go home.
Yep.
That was awesome to see that.
Yep.
And of course, the trivia was fun too. I mean, talk about asking some off the wall movie questions, and some of these guys were pulling out answers from like just
Yep.
I'd never even heard of this movie, so it was kind of fun to see that.
Yeah.
So it's always good to see that. So what kind of things are we doing, or what kind of things do you do as a tech, to keep your skills current, or making sure that you're not missing, you understand what's going on with all the cloud stuff with Amazon, AWS, or even Microsoft Azure. What kind of stuff do you do to keep yourself current?
There's kind of 2 parts to that. I think it's doing some stuff outside of work, doing some digging and research, and just furthering training and certifications is definitely one answer you can go by. and then also just the amount of work we have coming in. Honestly, I mean, like
Right.
it's pretty much like that's the cool thing about this job too is like literally every week you're gonna learn something new,
Right.
no matter what. Like
You never get stagnant.
no,
Yeah.
like every week you're gonna come across something you've never seen before. That's another benefit of working from an MSP, in my opinion.
And that's the benefit of having an MSP.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I
Constantly.
know we have different training products that the guys can participate in. We use IT Pro TV to do training. They can log in and watch pretty much anything. There's other stuff out there, YouTube.
We know a lot of guys are leaning on Reddit as well.
Oh, yeah.
We get one of our other sysadmin guys. He finds a lot of stuff on Reddit. Sends to us at weird hours at night. And I'm like, bro, watch a movie or something.
I've been on Reddit all
Clock
night.
out, please.
He's the angry Reddit guy, by the way, in case you're reading Reddit now.
Right.
But yeah, that's just the way that you have to be on top and stay on your game here.
I would agree.
Things have changed. Things are moving very fast. We were just talking about this at lunch when we were sysadmins. I felt like it was back in the day when you had physical everything, and
Right.
back in the ESX 4.0 days, and things have changed. These guys are leveraging the cloud so much with Azure and AWS, and servers are coming online like this, and they're not having to worry about a lot of outages that we had to worry about because these data centers that they're building for us to leverage our stuff in are just awesome.
Yeah, they're massive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
The cloud.
The cloud is everywhere. So
Yeah, I'd say the main thing is just keeping up with like obviously all security updates and things like that. That's something we're obviously super big on. Just pushing everything we can to make sure our clients are as secure as possible.
yeah,
Yep.
that's a big thing too, is security. I mean,
And over the last 2 years, it's just like what we've done proactively from that standpoint has been really cool to see. And I'm not going to sit here and take credit. The sysadmin team did a fantastic job.
I drive that home. I mean, I literally say I can't take this back to the office because they will lynch me.
yeah.
They're not going to allow this.
Yep.
So I'm telling you, we need to do this.
Yep.
And I'm really telling you. I'm not asking.
Right.
They got to do it. Or they're going to have me when I get back. So
I think one of the times when your follow-up meeting, you should go with like torn jeans and stuff.
right.
Like,
Look what happened last time. I
Great.
went back with these same. I'm missing the bottom half of my pants.
Yep.
I mean, and the other cool thing that we haven't done lately, and it's because obviously things are just starting to come back, right? Is sending people to conferences. I really believe in going to Ignite or any Microsoft partner event, and we're seeing Kaseya doing events now, and that stuff is all coming back, which is great. So, there's nothing like taking a week off of being in the office to recharge your batteries, to go sit in a bunch of keynotes, do a bunch of breakout sessions, and come back totally jazzed, energized, and make changes in the environment of stuff you kind of get caught in this a little bit.
Sure.
So having those events coming back, I'm really excited for that. I'm excited to be able to start sending these guys, hey, like look down the road. Where do you guys want to go in 6 months, 12 months? What kind of conferences are coming up to help you guys be better at what you're doing?
And sometimes, as a leadership team, you have to kind of enforce that, not say this is just an option. Do what you want. Stay siloed, or hey, I need you to attend 3 conferences this year.
Agreed.
Pick 3.
Right.
Agreed.
That's
I
on
signed you
your.
up for
That's
this,
one of
you're
your
going.
goals that we should set for them.
Yep. It is.
And I mean, like it's one of those things. Like if you really pay attention to those, like they do work. I mean, I went to 3CX. That was a few years ago now, but literally the week I got back, I got my advanced certification. Like, if you pay attention to it, it'll work.
Yeah.
And it's knowledge, learning, obviously, and it's also team building, team bonding.
Well, and you also get to see product too,
Correct.
right? You guys came back with some like, hey,
Swag.
have we ever looked at these products here? Well, look at this. All of a sudden, we've been looking for this particular product, and we saw it.
Right.
We would never have found it without going to
A
that.
third of those things is about networking.
Correct.
Yes.
Yep.
Agreed.
The other 2/3 is about learning the product and.
Yeah, we're IT guys, so we're not really into the networking thing. Not like our sales team. The salespeople
different
are
kind of
always
networking.
constantly out.
Gosh, they're annoying.
They're
Spending
drinks
money
every
on
day,
crazy
coffees every
stuff.
day. Retaining talent with salespeople is easy because they go out and drink coffee every day and have all these meetings. So, but it's for IT
We love our
guys.
sales team.
These guys, when they're done in the day, they want to go home and play on their Xboxes. So
Right.
I get that. So, is there anything else you guys can think of to talk about talent, other ways to keep people, retain people that we might have missed.
A couple things
we're
that we've
doing.
implemented that we haven't even touched on, and that is the work from home.
Oh,
That is
that's
huge. I
that's
mean, there's everything has changed so much in the last 24, 36 months. And just that freedom, that having that autonomy as an employee to say, hey, I'm going to work from home today. I'm going to be in the office on these days. That's just another. That's almost better than free snacks.
True.
You know?
And that's another one. I mean, our fridge is stocked with pops and beer.
And
and
some adult beverages.
Yes. And there is, we have chips, cookies, whatever, and it's for these guys.
Correct.
I mean, I don't want them to have to walk up to a vending machine and buy something because they want to pop.
Yeah.
I mean, the cost for us as a company to spend a couple $1,000s a year just to make sure these guys are happy, I think that's great. Maybe we're not helping diabetes right now, but
well, I mean, I'd like to see more apples and oranges, but at the end of the day, we're not buying.
Gotta eat those quick.
We're not buying. We're not buying unhealthy food either.
Correct.
But I think that's a perk. And then the work at home thing. Obviously, COVID changed.
Sure.
I think COVID changed all businesses.
100%. And our staff, speaking from my staff, which is obviously the bulk of what we do, they did such an amazing job during that time period. I know I looked at you and I was like, I can't tell them they have to come back to this office for 5 days. That's not fair. Like, they've gotten accustomed to this, but they've earned it as well. It's not that I didn't give them anything.
It was forced upon us, and it worked.
Yep.
So, we just relayed that opportunity to them. And it was forced upon us to have to deal with. It wasn't forced upon them to have to come back to the office. It was like, hey, this is working.
Great. 100%. So it was like, okay, when we had the all clear, guys, what we're going to do, we're going to make both sides of your weekend a little longer, a little easier on the commute. Everyone's in the office Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Still keeps the culture, the team bonding, the team building going.
The collaboration.
I missed that the most.
Yeah.
We were one of the 3 people that were almost here on a consistent basis during COVID.
Yep.
It was weird.
Yeah.
You miss seeing the people. Like
And then after a while you didn't. And when they started all coming back, I was like, gosh, can they just work from home?
Right.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But I mean, it actually changed the way we work.
Absolutely.
Which is cool because it is a nice bonus for the guys to be able to work at home.
And then, so here's add on another layer. We're like, hey, thanks for working at home. Now what we're going to do is we'll pay you an internet stipend.
Yeah.
We'll pay a portion of your home internet.
Yep. And that was something we did this year.
And we're actually also doing we're rewarding people for being on call.
True. Yeah.
That's something that we never. It was just forced.
Correct.
Just, old school mentality. It was like, you're on call this week, like it or not. Now it's like, if I was a tech, I'd be like, I'll be on call every week.
I know.
I'll be on call all year.
Yeah.
Right. If I get extra money.
It's been
after
lucrative
hours.
recently.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's an incentive to not consider it a job.
Right.
Not here. Oh my God.
Again.
But that, and then we have the cell phone stipends. Look, we expect everyone to be able to use their cell phone as a tool. We're in IT. There's a lot of stuff that on the cell phone you're needed to do your daily job. So that's a stipend.
Yeah.
The folks that are driving around, they get a vehicle stipend every month, depending on how much they're going to different partners. And it's fair. It's not. I'm not the kind of person that's like, I'm going to set your vehicle stipend so it's a 50-50 split. Like, I get it, man. It's mileage, it's wear and tear. You're also saving me time and themselves time from having to document the mileage and then me having to reconcile the mileage. I trust you. I'm going to give you a little bigger win on what the stipend is, and we'll call it good.
Yeah.
Right.
That is a plus. I mean, snacks, being able to work from home, getting your internet paid for to a point. I mean, that's a nice perk for tech.
All of it adds up.
It does.
Yes.
I mean, especially if we're going to ask you to work at home, we might as well help you out with your internet costs.
Sure.
Well, I think the cool thing for the work from home thing too is I feel like it brought more of a comfort level for everyone to work at home. Even if they're even if it's after hours, or I don't know if it's because they got a nice office set up during COVID or something like that. But I just feel like
you have to adapt to that.
Yeah, and now
it's hard to adapt initially, but then once you get it,
they're super used to it, and it feels natural to just be on your computer at home working. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah, you're like, I shouldn't be here.
Right. Well, I don't know what to do. I got to set up my home office really quick to be able to handle this call.
Or honestly, even before we started doing that, I feel like if someone was working late one day, they would just stay here late. Right. But now it's why don't I leave a little bit early?
That's what I do. I'm like, get out of here.
Get
You're
out
working
of here.
late.
Just go
beat the traffic.
Right.
You know,
And we provide techs with equipment so they can do home labs, all kinds of things.
Well, the equipment we're providing them here is a game changer too, I think.
Oh, yeah.
You know, these guys all get laptops. They're getting, you know, we have moved away from dual monitors now. We're moving into the curves. So these guys have these nice curved monitors. They're able to have their tool sets everywhere and be able to supply support faster and quicker.
That's
It's like,
the goal.
you know, when we went to 2 monitors, everybody like went up in productivity. And when you break that
And then they started seeing 3.
Yeah.
And we're like, why don't we just get a big one?
big
Right,
one,
right.
and you get that big monitor, it changes because now you don't have that break in the screen. And you
It
can
feels
just
good
flow.
to sit down to
Oh,
a
yeah.
desk that doesn't have 3 jalopies on it. You know?
Well, and we're
I agree.
moving, and we started moving to the stand-up desk too now, right? So some people are standing, some people are sitting, some people are doing both. It's a constant change, and we're evolving constantly. I love that. So
Yeah, it really it's all about catering to the folks that you want to stay with you. You have to do some kind of catering. You know, walking around the office ruling with an iron fist. Good luck with that.
Well, it's an appreciation,
correct.
you know, as well. I mean, we appreciate you, so here's how we show it.
Yep.
And you appreciate us by doing what you do.
And this is where it comes back to the SMB, right? The small business can take so much advantage of our ability to bring on great talent. They don't have to search for IT people. They don't have to try to then, you know, have this huge salary of a $50,000 a year salary for an IT guy that takes vacation a couple times, gets sick, and he's not available to them. They
And
can
he's
outsource.
not on the up and up.
Yeah, and he's, you know, they can outsource it to us.
And if they're
half
with
the cost.
if they're using our Plus service and they have on-site support,
Yeah.
and our on-site support tech calls and says, "Hey, Adam, I'm gonna be sick today." Guess what? I can get someone else out there to service you the exact same time.
Yep.
That's
You have-
familiar, right? 'Cause
yeah,
we
you-
rotate.
You have internal IT. Oh man, he's sick today.
All IT issues are on hold.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
That doesn't work.
Can't run payroll today. QuickBooks is down. The IT guy's sick.
Right.
Yeah, you know. We always joke that we don't get sick, we don't take vacation because we have enough staff to rotate it to be available to you, and that's a savings to the SMB then, because now they're not having to they're not spending, you know, resources on having an IT person.
And they're not going without.
Correct.
That's more
And
important.
they get more from us, I think, a lot of times too, because a lot of times that talent, what they're looking to hire is a guy that maybe is great at PC support, but they may still have to outsource their networking, their switches, their phone systems, their servers, where they get
then
that
they-
with
It's
us.
one-stop shopping
Yeah.
here.
Yep. Then they have to call us for Network Plus. You know, it's like
Yep. Yeah, and then, you know, they get the advantage of having you come in and start doing the budgeting, you're doing the rotation of equipment, you're helping drive down those costs even more for them.
right.
And
I
they're
know,
staying
kind
current,
of
right?
feels weird, but you know.
Yeah,
But
in the
it's-
grand scheme of things, you know, a small business needing IT, and they're like, okay, I could hire or go the MSP route. So in order for them to hire a vCIO, an operations manager, a PC support technician, maybe 2, and a systems administrator, good luck.
Right.
Like you're never, there's no way. I mean, that would be probably, in a lot of the circumstances, you know, 5 people in IT would be a quarter or a third of their entire staff.
Right.
So it's like, that doesn't make sense to spend all that money.
And we can do that for a fraction.
Yeah, that 10 to 25 user community out there.
Yeah, they can't. Right.
They don't want to hire somebody and spend $50,000 a year on that.
No.
They can outsource it to us for
$49.
$49,995.
And get a whole team of folks.
Right. Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, it makes a big difference. But yeah, you get that whole team, you get the expertise, you get all the security that comes with it, you get all of our tools, and you're talking about even more savings. We're also in that cost. You hire the IT guy, you have to buy antivirus, you're buying MDR, you're buying security tools, you're buying remote tools, you're spending that. So now it's $50,000 for the guy, plus then you're paying benefits for him, and then now he needs all these tools. This guy now costs you $65,000, $70,000 a year.
Easy.
You hire us at 30, right? And you
It's
get
all
those tools.
included.
Yeah, you get all those tools. You get your AV, you get your MDRs, you get your evaluations on when your equipment needs to be rotated. Here's your budgeting. Here's your tier 1 guy to do your PC support. Here's your server administrator. Here's your cloud specialist. Here's your salesperson. Here's some marketing stuff for you.
You got a security team, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's you know, that's $49,995, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is
Just
a saving,
under.
Just under.
But
We
you know,
beat 'em.
it is a savings. I mean, and obviously in a lot of cases it's even less than that.
And it doesn't just come down to the money. It
No.
comes down to what are you getting for that money.
Right.
You're getting a team of people. As I've said before on podcasts, if something were to happen so bad, it's just not your pet team people going to come to the rescue. It's going to be all pet team, all hands on deck. You're going to get 17 people, 20 people if you need it, if it's that bad.
Yep.
It hasn't been that bad in a long, long time.
No.
We haven't had to do that.
And we've heard Micah say this a million times. Do what you do best.
And subcontract the rest.
Right. And outsource the rest. So, I mean, that's a huge, I mean, we do that.
That's exactly what we do.
We're not accountants.
Nope.
We don't do our own accounting. We have an accounting team, right? We've outsourced it. We don't do our own HR, right?
We don't write our own security tools.
Correct. We outsource it, yeah. We're good at, and we bring in other people to help with us with running our business.
Yeah, the top of the industry for other
Yep.
sides of it.
Yep. Well, cool. I don't know. You guys have anything else for me? Or you guys, I think we hit a huge range of topics there
Yeah,
on
that's good.
talent.
And if anybody wants to call me, I'll help coach you through interviews. I'm real good at it.
Yeah, interviewing is so
You've
much
had
fun.
enough of them, yeah.
Well, coming up, next episode will be episode 5.
Yep.
It's going to be a cybersecurity deep dive, so we're going to dive even more into some of the security stuff we started hinting on with MDRs, antivirus, next generation firewalls. Kind of covered that stuff a little bit in episode 1. It's sprinkled in through episode 2 and 3 also. Talked about it a little bit here. Head over to MIS.tech DIY to catch up on all of our episodes. You can see episode 3, 2, and 1 if you just came in now.
It's okay that they're not movie quality.
Right, yes.
It's okay.
If you watch episode 1 to episode now, you'll see a definite change as we have learned
We're
to.
evolving.
Yes.
We didn't outsource the podcast experts.
Right, we should have. Yes, but you'll find all full episodes there, additional resources, blogs, our checklists, our guides. You can follow us on social media. We're out there in LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. So, I thank you guys all for coming.
Right.
Appreciate you. Hopefully,
Look forward
you
to
guys
next week.
Yeah, me too. Get my cybersecurity on.
That's it.
Thank you guys.